My name is Lucas, this is A Bit of Lit, and I'm here to talk about On Stranger Tides, which is a book by Tim Powers, published in 1987. Tim Powers is well known for his historical fantasy fiction novels, and where he goes into a time period, looks at all the facts, changes nothing, and looks at some questions some people might have, or some strange elements, and adds a fantasy element or occultism element to it to spice things up. And let me just give you the facts as they are about On Stranger Tides. Let me know what you think of this concept here, okay? Because in my mind, it doesn't get any better. And if you like this kind of thing, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that. Here it is. A puppeteer from the old world, that being Europe, Chandagnac, is sailing to Jamaica to seek revenge against his uncle, who stole the inheritance of his father. Unfortunately, on his way, pirates overtake the ship he is on and basically take him prisoner, so that he now becomes Jack Shandy, pirate extraordinaire, who now has to deal with navies as the golden age of piracy is ending and empire is on the rise. Sea battles in general, and voodoo, occultism, magical fights on the seas. It's as cool as it sounds, but then it gets cooler because the legendary Blackbeard is amassing an empire of his own, of undead zombies in search of the Fountain of Youth, well known for Juan Ponce de Leon's own search for the Fountain of Youth. And yeah, it's just so cool. It's so cool. And the novel starts off with a banger. I was telling my mortal enemy how strong the beginning is and how much I really enjoy reading this book. And then the rest of the book happens, and it goes from like amazing to fine, and then the epilogue happens and I'm angry. That's how I feel. I've given you the concept. If that sounds interesting to you, please read it. It's got its own energy, and it's quite vibrant in that way. However, everything is tied up so nicely and neatly and pretty that I can't stand it. And I don't mind books that end so nicely and neatly, but the way it's done, I mean, Jack Shandy, he learns all these skills in seemingly like the moment he tries them. He learns to be a pirate, learns how to fight swords, and he has some clever excuses. Well, when I was a puppet, I had to do a sword fight with the puppets, and I just learned by doing that for my actual self with the puppets. Okay. Jack Shandy is quite a clever character, a little bit of a coward, I would say, and not exactly the brightest, but that's perfectly fine. I do enjoy his character just fine. Beth, certainly his love interest, who he wants to protect, whose father is a magical wizard type person, who goes by different names by the end of the book, as well as his uncle, not her father's uncle, but Jack Shandy's uncle. They go by different names so that Jack Shandy can take care of all the bad guys by the end of the book and be the hero. And then he takes care of Blackbeard. And the only way he can do that is because part of this occultism element is that through marriage you can become more powerful by sharing the spirit or the soul of your wife, who, if they are a Loa as well, they have these magical abilities, because men and women have different magical powers, which is a little strange to me, but I will accept it because I'm already accepting magic. Perfectly fine. When I was telling my mortal enemy, Mr. Nothing, about this, he said it might actually have something to do with some actual cultural beliefs in the Caribbean somewhere. I don't know for sure. He doesn't know for sure, but Okay, I'm willing to accept it. However, one of these characters has married 14 times to gain powers, and all of his wives went crazy and died and all this other stuff, and it makes me wonder, how does this actually work? Do you actually have to have a real soulful spiritual connection to the person, or is it just, oh, we had the ceremony, now we're married, now I share power? That's the way it feels in the writing, especially, you know, I mean, okay, sure, Jack and Beth at the end, they've apparently fallen in love. Why not? Even though they've barely seen each other for most of the... I digress. I think they're just infatuated with each other, but I'm closing my eyes because when I talk about books I hate, I can't. I just hate the ending. I hate the epilogue. Everything else is like either totally badass or cool. There's a fireball fight with these wizard people. How cool is that? Very cool. It's on the open seas. Come on, man. I'm convinced that this book is set in the Scooby-Doo universe because I've seen that movie and so have you. Zombie pirates are my jam. Yeah. Jack Shandy takes care of her father, takes care of his uncle, takes care of Blackbeard. The only way he can do that, because Blackbeard is so powerful, is by marrying Beth at the last moment so he can gain her power because they're soulful and magic and boom. I hate it. I hate it so much. That's all I've got to say. I hate the ending. I've spoiled it for you. It's stupid, in my opinion. I mean, I think it's just genuinely dumb. And I thought it was dumb. I will accept the marriage thing. Maybe it is a cultural occultism thing. I think it's not really well explained. But it is, the way it's shown with that one character who's married 14 times, is just to add development to that person to make them even more rotten and evil. But the way it's done, okay, sure, I believe that character is more rotten and evil. But I also don't believe in this magical thing because I'm wondering, like, how connected do you really have to be? You can just say, I do. Okay, now I'm powerful again. Are you doing it before God? Why would God allow this to happen 14 times? You'd think after the third, okay? You know, I have a lot of questions. I don't understand. Nothing makes sense. And it makes me hate this book, okay? I hate the marriage thing only because the way it's used is so stupid and it wraps up everything in a nice little bow and... it could be fine, you know, the marriage thing could be fine, and it might be a legitimate cultural voodoo or occultism kind of thing, like I said before. I don't really know. I'm okay with that. You know, I will accept that men and women. The magic isn't even real. Okay, it's just a fantasy book, but I don't understand. This is why I don't read fantasy a lot, because it bothers me, okay? When I don't understand something, maybe I should. Maybe I just read a line wrong or something. I don't know. But it like doesn't make any sense. What is the connection that you really have to have? Just is it a legal connection, really? Can I just say, oh, I'm married to this? I mean, go to the, you know, office, wherever, the legal marriage office, whatever it's called at this time, I don't know what they would have called it, and say, oh, I would like to marry this woman, let's get the papers signed, okay, we're married. That doesn't make any sense. Obviously it's got to be a spiritual thing. But then if it's God doing it, why would God allow that? Somebody, maybe he's apathetic, okay? Then if he's so apathetic, why did he make these rules, okay? Why does it have to be men and women? Okay, and if it's not God, if it's just some kind of spiritual, soulful connection, why is this person allowed to just leech off people? He's not really in love with them. It feels like you have to be in love. Jack and Beth are in love at the end, even though it's kind of ridiculous to me, and they're just infatuated, and I don't understand. It drives me crazy, and I can't talk about this anymore. Thank you, goodbye.